Sports betting brother, and hey, bring it up, and thanks for stopping by. My name is Boyd. I'm a sports betting market analyst with OddsJam.com. I'm here to teach you how to bet like a pro. Today's topic is teasers, and specifically NFL teasers. We're going to go into what the pros do, what the pros use, and how to go about betting teasers. Hopefully you can take a lot of value from this and make some extra money using these teasers properly.
All right, guys, first of all, let's define what a teaser is in the NFL. An NFL teaser bet is basically when you're taking a 6.5, 7-point, or even up to a 10-point differential in how you can adjust a line. I'm going to show you here in a minute. We're going to go to DraftKings. I'll show you how you set that up. But a teaser is basically taking the line and adding or subtracting the 6, 6.5, 7. And all those odds, all those line changes have difference in odds and payouts. So certainly the more you tease it up or tease it down, the odds are going to change for the payout purposes. But we'll show you how that works. And something called a Wong teaser is Stanford Wong. I've done a couple of videos on this. He's a gentleman that actually figured out and helped promote these teasers in the sports books. Now are catching on to the fact that it can be a very profitable thing, especially when you're getting such value out of such an efficient market. But we'll talk about some of those tips here in a minute. But that's kind of the history and the background with the teasers and what they are. Okay, guys, as I mentioned, so a teaser is typically a 6, 6.5, 7, and sometimes up to a 10-point swing and a point spread. So, for example, if you wanted to take the Dolphins. We're going to add a couple together here because you have to have at least 2 to make a teaser bet. Most of the time it's 3. And maybe we'll take the Ravens -6. We're going to tease these 6 points. And so we come over here and it's going to say teasers. And it's going to say 6-point teaser. And basically what that does is it makes the Dolphins plus 7.5. And it makes the Ravens even money, so they just have to win the game. So again, you could put your dollar amount in here. They're paying at -120. So let's say you put in $100 and, that would net you the 83.33 as a profit. You can see here. Now, I believe DraftKings is one of the books that if it lands on the number, which you can't do, you can't land on 0 in an NFL game. I guess in theory you could, but it's so unlikely that it wouldn't happen. But as far as a tie, then the odds and the payouts may differ from sportsbook to sportsbooks. That's one thing you have to check out and take a look at. You can change this to do, say, a 6.5-point teaser at -130. So if you want to get this off of a specific number, you could. A Wong teaser is when you're going through certain numbers and key numbers. Now, certainly, teasing through the 0 is dumb because it's a dead number in the NFL because there's just, again, I mentioned a little probability that the game's going to end in a tie. So therefore, you're wasting one of your precious points that has no value. All right. So that's one thing you'll notice that in doing these teasers, you want to make sure you're going through certain key numbers or you're teasing at the correct direction. So another thing is we don't get into teasing totals. Totals is building on points without any value. You don't get the value. So compared to the spreads, where there's a lot of more value, especially in the efficient market of the NFL, teasing a total from under 56 to 62 might seem like it has value, but it really doesn't run through a lot of the key numbers, and you'll see the disappointment that if you get into using the totals as teasers. And so that's the second thing. Also, teasing college football, it's a no-no. Not that you can't do it, but there's just not a lot of value. The college football game is much different, and there's just a different distribution of outcomes, and so it's pretty rare that you would see a lot of value in the points and the systems of college football. So my best piece of advice is certainly use it for NFL. I'll also tell you that the time of teasing is the market's most efficient right before kickoff. If you happen to get in on some of these lines early in the week before they go up the other direction, that's also the time. So certainly I would say betting at the tips, betting at the early stage when you might have some value if you can anticipate the movement of the line. And then certainly the very, very last before kickoff is because you're going to have the market's most efficient. So again, we'll put one together here. Let's say, for example, you want to take the Saints. We'll tease this down to say to 2.5. Another one you could take is the Browns, tease that one down, and then you would skip this one because that's not going to go through. You're going to go through 0, so that's a waste. This is a non-good, bad teaser line. This one as well. You're looking for 1.5 and 2.5 points on certain size, teasing the Buccaneers up to 8.5. And then, so, you notice sometimes if people know what they're doing, know what they're looking for, another one here you could take a look at is the Giants plus 7.5. You tease that up 6. That would be a nice play. Another one you could certainly use is the Bills plus 8. So again, you're looking at key numbers here: the 2, 2.5, 1, 1.5. You're skipping the 3, 3.5, because again, you're gonna have to go through 0 and miss out on some values. So again, you can quickly and easily see the games that you can use. Another one you could use the 7.5 and 8.5. So you can tease this down, 6.5 points to -1. So basically Cincinnati have to do is win the game. But you're looking at those numbers, these numbers. You're skipping the 4s and skipping the 5s, skipping the 3, 3.5s. Because again, it's not going to give you the best value. So, lastly, I'll tell you that teasing other sports, people try to carry this over, and just the ability to do this in the NBA and college basketball doesn't really work as well. So that's one thing that I would highly recommend not doing. And also the last thing is, they call them super teasers. It's a 10-point tease. At that point, you're really not going to get as much value again. So I recommend sticking with the 6, 6.5. I would say max 7 if you have to get off of a half a point to avoid a push. But those are some things you really want to incorporate and do. So those are lots and lots of items. It really helps you hone in on specifically, how you hunt for these teasers. Now, one more last tip is I like to do them in stages if I can. And let me tell you what I mean by stages. So, for example, the early games, the afternoon, or the morning games, the 11 a.m. games, and 1 o'clock early games on the East Coast, have 1 or 2 there if you can, and then maybe sprinkle in maybe an afternoon game or 2 that might fit. So maybe you come down here to these afternoon games, and if you've got one that fits this criteria, so such as, we talked about this Giants-Raiders game, that would be one to mix in. And then, you can typically mix in a Monday Night Football game or a Sunday night game, because what you can do is it gives you an opportunity to hedge or do different things creatively if you need to, if things go well in the morning, and, you have some outlets and some alternative plays you can use if it comes down to one game, say on Monday night or Sunday night, whatever. So it's nice in theory if you can spread them out in phases, early, and break it up so that you don't have everything just going on the morning games or the early games, but to have some choices and some things you can do creatively to counterbalance anything you might need to do in the later games is a big tip too. So lots and lots of good stuff there for understanding how to play like a pro with these teaser NFL bets. All right, guys, lots of pro tips there for NFL teasers. I want to remind you, too, OddsJam provides all this data for you, all the market insights to kind of help you with anticipating which way the markets may go. So, if you miss it early, you may be able to hit that teaser late in the week and help you with those tools and those data-driven insights. So, again, make sure you join OddsJam. Put the QR code here. You can scan that, get enrolled, get joined up. Make sure you use Boyd20, BOYD20. That's going to save you 20% off your first 2 months. And again, what a better time than right now with everything going on: basketball, football, hockey, everything's going on. So use that to your advantage. And if you have any questions, leave those down below. And as always, let's go make some mathematical money.